Hello, everyone, and welcome to Building Minnesota RØKKR. My name is Ashley, aka Midnight. I'm on here live on the YouTube, the RØKKR YouTube, with COO Brett Diamond here at RØKKR in version 1, and star RØKKR player Priestahh, aka Preston. Obviously, I mean, he just got here a couple months ago, but still, you are just so bad, like just insane on Cold War, Preston. So really excited to have you on and kind of just get to know you a little bit more.
I'm excited to be here, and I can't wait to just, chat about Cold War and the year and everything about RØKKR.
Heck yeah, I love to see it. And we got people in the chat, so thank you guys for joining us. And as well, if you are listening and you're not here live, howdy. Thank you so much for listening. We do these live. And this is actually, I'm going to be dramatic. Well, I'm going to be double dramatic. It's the last show of the year, and it's the last show before something crazy happens. I'm really excited about the RØKKR podcast next year. I can kind of start, and then obviously I want Brett to kind of chip in, ask some questions along the way, because I think, like, obviously, you know me, Preston, I've been in the COD community a really long time. I kind of ask all the really nerdy questions, or I'm just really fascinated by the whole process. And then Brett, obviously, and Brett, you've kind of talked to him before, but hearing him kind of come in with his perspective or his questions has been really interesting. And then obviously, if you're in the chat, shout out chat, ask some questions. We might answer some. So I guess I'll kind of start with, like, what's your role on the team now that we've gone to a 4v4 Call of Duty? What role are you playing on this roster?
Yeah, so the role I took on again is like one of the roles I've like really enjoyed playing is like a flex. So I kind of run a submachine gun and an AR depending on the map or depending on the hills. The game's kind of turned into like a two sub meta, so I run a sub on majority of the maps. But I was actually running another AR today on a couple maps, so I kind of just use whatever gun is needed and kind of just do what I have to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing, like, people kind of, I don't know if they forget, or maybe they just got like that short-term memory sometimes, but back in Black Ops 4, I swear, did you run everything? You were
Yeah.
an entry SOG, an AR, and a flex in that year. How did you, like, get to the point where you can do that? Because you do see a lot of players, like, you see like the main AR type players, like accuracy, like that's what they do. That's what they're really good at. He's really good at it. How do you, like, did you start with one class, or like what kind of got you interested in wanting to be a flex and just being, like, excelling it no matter what you play?
Yeah, so I think like what kind of started it was like when I started playing like GBs, and like when I first started getting like competitive was like it was only S&D, and I would always like kind of just use the gun, like I would bounce back and forth between like a submachine gun or an AR depending on like what I wanted to do in that round. And then I found out that I was just pretty good with both guns. And then like ever since I started playing like variant, I was always using like the kind of like the do it all gun, I guess you can say, where it's like a submachine gun and an AR, it's like in the middle. And then when I started getting thrown onto pro teams, they thought I was really good with a submachine gun. I was very good at being aggressive. So I started running a submachine gun. But I actually enjoyed running an AR more, and I thought I was just better at it, and my positioning was better. So I kind of just depending on the teams, I was kind of running a main sub, and then I started running a flex weapon. And then beginning of Black Ops 4, I was like, I kind of want to try to run a main AR because at the end of World War II, I actually ran a main AR at Champs, and I played amazing with it. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm a main AR player. So then beginning of Black Ops 4, I used a main AR, and then eventually, like I said, I kind of bounced around different roles depending on what I needed to do. And I ended up just running all the roles, and I don't know, I guess it just kind of comes natural.
Preston, how much changed with the update that came this week? Are you guys still figuring it out, or do you have it down already?
We're still figuring it out slowly. I think a lot of teams are. There's some new guns coming out. The KSP, it's like a burst weapon that's been being used. Some teams are using MP5s, AK-47s. It's kind of all around right now. But we're slowly figuring it out. I think it's kind of going back to the old meta where it's just like Krigs and AK-74 used, but they're just like a little bit worse. But yeah, I think it's just gonna stick at that meta. Maybe some KSPs on certain maps.
Do people use the KSP, the submachine gun, the burst submachine gun you're talking about? Is that like typically on a larger, more medium range map, or is it just whatever? Like, is it closer range that you're noticing people are using it for?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like I don't know what maps everyone's using it on right now, but when I use it, I notice it's really good for close range. If you have like a tight angle and they come around the corner, you can one burst them, so you kill them very, very quickly. So I would say it's more of like a close range gun than a far range for sure.
That makes sense. And what about the MAC-10? I've been just tearing it up in pubs since it came out, but obviously pubs is way different than competitive when especially when you're playing against the best players in the world every day. Like there's no margin for error, having any like less time to kill or anything. But what's the MAC-10 like? Is it nice or no?
Personally, I haven't even tried it. I tried it like once in Warzone the other night, but I haven't even tried it for competitive or in pubs or anything. So I'm not sure. I haven't really seen anyone use it yet. So
I wonder if it would be allowed as well. And so have you guys been scrimming raid? Is that like is that a thing that people are just playing? Is it just kind of assumed that that's going to be in the fold next year of the map rotation? I mean, there hasn't been anything announced that I've noticed, but like it's literally one of the best maps of all time, a competitive staple in Black Ops 2, obviously, and just I think would work perfectly.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think there's any like announcements for it or anything yet. I know a lot of pro teams have been scrimming it, if not every single one of them. And it plays out really good. I even said it today, I was like, wow, that map is just so fun to play. And we even tried control on it. It's interesting. I think they might have to like adjust some spawns if it stays in, but I think it plays really good, and I think it should be in rotation personally.
When's the last time that map was in the competitive rotation?
Black Ops 2.
Black Ops 2, yeah, and that was one game that I didn't really compete in, so I'm excited that like if it is in this year, then I actually have the chance to play on it because everyone obviously talks good about it and says it's one of the best maps. So I'm excited for sure about it.
It's its first, well, actually, I mean, it's its first like real appearance since Black Ops 2. But I listen, Raid is my favorite map. I'm actually holding my own Raid tournament on my Twitch. Like, I love the map. I absolutely am in love with it. But it did come back in Black Ops 4, but it was like a reskinned version. Like, it didn't look the same, and it just had like a different vibe. And I can't remember why, but it just wasn't like really even sniffed for competitive. I don't know if that was before they did the free to play map releases, or I'm not sure how that kind of worked, but it just looked different, and it was the same like angles and stuff, but it was not the same. And then obviously they put it into Blackout, which was also in Black Ops 4, and it did look like its good old self, but it was obviously in the BR mode. So that's a brief history on Raid, if you guys were wondering. I absolutely love the map. Before we actually got on to record tonight, I played a little bit of pubs, and I played Hardpoint on Raid, and it's just like I remember, man. I'm stoked.
Yeah, we were talking about like how a lot of the remake maps they make, they always like decide to like change something in the map, whether it's add like an extra area or like add certain like doorways or something, and they just like copy and paste it pretty much and just made it look super clean, and it's just fun.
It's a good time. Oh, I have a question actually on the gun or the weapon usage. How you're just kind of versatile player, submachine guns, ARs. It all doesn't matter as long as it's in Priestah's hands. Brett asked me today because I was in optic for a long time. Sniping was my thing for a long time. Are you a good sniper? And could you beat every other person on the team in a 1v1?
I don't know if I could now. I know Dylan snipes probably the most out of all of us. I used to be really good at sniping when I was playing like Black Ops 3 S&D tournaments, but as soon as I joined Variant and like started getting into the pro scene and stuff, all my teams said like I was too aggressive and I guess like too good to use a sniper, and they wanted me to be pushing up. So I haven't really used a sniper in competitive since I probably started playing in the pro scene. But I'm sure I still kind of got it, you know. Like I snipe in Warzone and stuff, and I hit shots, but I haven't sniped in competitive in a long time.
For the record, Ashley's answer to whether she could outsnipe any of the pro players, she didn't actually answer that question. She just made the point that she could outsnipe anybody on the staff. So
I did. I think. I mean, listen. I'm delusional. So what I'm about to say is delusional. I said I couldn't beat Attached because I know he snipes a lot, and I probably couldn't beat Priestahh because he's cracked. But I don't really know like Major Maniac and accuracies like history sniping or quick scoping. A little bit of I'm the director of content obviously here for the team, so a little bit of like foreshadowing here. We actually have a sniper 1v1 coming out between Attach and Coach Saints. I was trying to think because I knew Attach liked to snipe. I was like, well, who on the team like would actually like wanna throw with him? And then of course Brian Saint spoke up, and I was like, well, sure, let's see how that goes. So we'll see who wins when we upload that. I'm kind of nervous. I'm nervous for Saint. So obviously, I know we kind of asked a little bit about like scrims and stuff, but want to know like how the team's been doing lately. Just a quick overview. You don't have to go in detail. Just from my kind of like perspective. Obviously, we have Treyarch this year. Thank goodness. Shout out Vondahar. Shout out everybody over there. We are blessed to have like pretty frequent updates. Like it seems like they're changing like hill points, spawn points. Like they've been quite reactive to pub and competitive feedback. So, with that being said, the game's changing pretty quickly and evolving quite a lot. But just, overview, since Cold War's come out, it's been over a month now. How do you think the team's doing and how you guys feeling?
Yeah, I think we're doing really good. We have obviously a lot to work on still. Like we have days where we do worse than others. But the thing I like about this team a lot is that, we watch a lot of VODs and we're like working really hard to just get on the same page. And most of the times when we do bad, it's either like we're beating ourselves or we're kind of just trying a lot of new things. But we have really like days where we play really good and then days where we don't play as good. So it's kind of just like, perfecting the craft and this like getting more consistent with what plays are good and what plays aren't. But yeah, I'm just excited to keep working with the team.
That's awesome. I guess I kind of want to know, like, I feel like I know this just because, like, I've interviewed you quite a few times and obviously watched a lot of your stuff, but, like, how did you get your start and how did you get, like, noticed to be, like, on a professional Call of Duty team? You mentioned that you'd played a lot of Search and Destroy before you played Variant and stuff, but, like, how did you get noticed, and what was the first time where you were like, oh man, I'm playing like in this tournament against so-and-so, or I finally got teamed with this person for a tournament, like I could do this? Like, what, just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started.
Yeah, so I started off obviously just playing pubs like anyone else, and then eventually I found like a clan, and they wanted to invite me into a GB team, and they actually made my GB account for me, and like I was like super young, and they invited me to the team, did everything for me. So I started playing GBs, and then eventually I found about S&D tournaments, and I just started grinding S&D tournaments out, and just started to stream and just playing a lot of 1v1s. And I think in Black Ops 3 is kind of when I started getting my name out there and just like winning S&D tournaments consistently. And then when I went into Variant when I turned 18, I was like I started grinding like respawn and just everything. And teams started to realize that I was actually pretty good at that. And I got picked up by Panda, which at the time was me, Fastball, Too Quick, and Nelson. And that was like one of the better teams that I think I could have probably got on just for my first team in Variant like ever. And I just started going to open tournaments and just competing through open bracket. And I did pretty consistently like top 20, top 24 for the first couple tournaments, and then started breaking into that top 12 range. And eventually C9 hit me up to play. They were in the league at the time, but they had to go through a qualifier to get back into the league. So they picked me and Exotic up, and then we qualified for the league. And then ever since then, I've been in the league and just just bouncing around different teams.
That's awesome to hear. So it's kind of like, I mean, it's the dream come up for most people. We do get like a lot of questions. Maybe it's from people who, they're starting to grind and they feel like, oh, well, I'm not playing with players that I think are good enough to help me get noticed, or where do I even start? I think the answer is always online tournaments, grind, get your name out there. And, you got to show up, right? Like you talked about showing up at LAN a couple times and kind of getting those consistently high, like top 24, top 12, like you'll start to get noticed. I think with the Challengers series this year, and obviously we can touch on this a little bit about like the scouting series that's going on this week with all the Challengers doing, like it's kind of like, it's like glorified eights, but like pretty cool to just kind of see like who's out there. What advice would you give to like an amateur player who's grinding their way through Challengers or trying to play in these scouting series to get noticed? Is it just, and especially, I mean, now with the league going from 5v5 to 4v4, it's tough to get on a starting lineup. So like, what do you got to say like to the future COD players who are going to go pro in like, 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, so I think like the main thing now that I've been kind of like watching more is obviously you have to be talented at the game. You have to be good at the game. And then a big part of it's just being a good person and just being a good teammate, making sure you have that reputation. Because if you're not, then you're probably not going to get picked up. Even if you're good, you don't want to be known as a toxic player or personality. But yeah, I mean, it's just being a good person and being a good teammate and just being really good at the game. And I'm sure like whoever's gonna get picked up, they're probably gonna have to win a couple, tournaments before it happens, or everyone's just talking really good about them. You want to get that just like good reputation all around.
Yeah, I interviewed Standy yesterday because he got picked up by Brian Saint for the Challenger Series yesterday, or drafted, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned like, yeah, like we won, Challengers champs last year, and I still didn't get picked up. So he's like, I don't know. So then he came. I guess I can't. It might have been. I think it was. Man, I talked to too many amateur players. See, I can't remember who it was. Oh, it was Gravity. Gravity. I think they won the first 2 Challengers Cups. So it's like it's just uber competitive down there. That's like the passion pit, as we call it when we go to events. It's been really really cool to see like those comps. You do have it happening. Like you see Mac Melts going on in New York last year, or Awakening out of Florida. Like it's possible. It's rare. It really speaks to like the skill gap and the level of play that's required to be on a starting roster. So,
sure.
For how you guys started that kind of adds up to me. But what else did you do like in the meantime? I know you used to skateboard a lot. You were wanting to go pro on that. Did the skateboarding stop and the COD went up, or how did it kind of work?
Yeah, so I mean, I would do both for a while. Like I would skateboard after school, and then after that, I would go and play video games for the rest of the night. And then obviously, I ended up injuring myself, and that's kind of when I just started putting my all into just gaming, and that's when COD really started going up for me, rather than putting any focus really into skateboarding. So.
Wow, so you could have gone like that's legit. You could have gone pro as a skateboarder. That's pretty amazing.
I was getting good at it. I mean, I definitely wasn't pro level yet, like doing crazy stuff, but I was getting really good at it, and I was doing it every day for, like a few hours a day, like not going too hard, but yeah, I was definitely very passionate about it, and it was something me and my brother just did every single day after school. And we had a park that was down the street from us that, had lights, so even like when it turned dark outside, we were still going hard, so it was fun.
That's awesome. The X Games were here in Minnesota past couple of summers, and had a chance to. We were just like down on the floor because it was in the Viking Stadium, and I've never watched much competitive skateboarding, but like the things they were doing, man, it was unreal. Like what incredible athletes they were.
Oh yeah, they're insane. Especially like even like if you've ever tried skateboarding, it just blows your mind even more because you know how difficult the stuff they're doing is. It's nuts.
I got a picture to paint for you guys. One year, Santa brought me a skateboard. I was a weird kid. I really liked WWF, so they got me a The Rock skateboard. So that was cool. But I tried, and it was way too hard. So I just took the wheels off, and I just used it on my trampoline. So you're welcome, everybody, for the 6th grade image of me, just 6th grade, jumping on my trampoline with my Rock skateboard with no wheels.
Wait, I did that. That's actually really fun, honestly.
It's a lot of fun. And
does that work? It stays on it. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. You just don't move forward. You just keep going up and down, but like you try to just keep under your feet.
Kick flipping and whatever. I don't know what else. I think it's so incredibly cool. Have you ever been to the Venice Beach like skate bowl, skate park down there? You ever like watched them or been down there?
I haven't. I know I went to some skate park in California. I don't know. I forget which one it was, but I haven't been to many like super popular skate parks. It's kind of just been all local stuff for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I had like time to kill after in Anaheim one year, and me and some friends went down to Venice Beach, and just the stuff they were doing down there was nuts. It's a whole vibe. So yeah, it's nothing but respect. It takes an immense amount of like coordination too. So super dope. Go ahead, Brett.
No, so Preston, I got a question for you. So you talked about this in the roster announcement video, right? 2nd place 2 years in a row. How does that motivate you? Do you think about that a lot, or is it just sort of it's the past and you just look forward? Like how does that fit with your mindset?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it definitely motivates me because I know I'm like that close to getting a ring. Like I said, I got 3rd, 2nd. I really thought it was gonna be 3-2-1. but it didn't go that way. Maybe for a reason. Maybe so it happens this year, and I keep staying as passionate as I am, and just keep on in the grind and keep winning. Yeah, it definitely motivates me, especially because I stream and people mention it all the time, and I'm like, it upsets me because I know I'm that close. I'm like, oh my god, it's not like just don't mention it. But at the same time, I'm glad they're mentioning it because it makes me just want to keep grinding.
Well, hopefully this is the year. Hopefully
That's
we
the
got
plan.
it.
That's the plan.
Hopefully it's 3-2-2-1. We'll take that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's possible when you look back at that time, especially like I've been in the scene for a long time, and you're like kind of I should say new because you've definitely like obviously established yourself. You're a monster. I think you're like by far like one of the best players in the league. But when you look back at your career so far, like what are the high points for you?
Mhm.
And I guess what's a low point? Like how do you kind of see yourself punching back from obviously placing second is still pretty good, but for a competitor like you, you're just like, nah, like
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, the highlights for me was probably one winning my first tournament, which was playoffs in World War II. Was like one of the biggest. It was I think the second biggest tournament behind champs. That was my first ever tournament I won, so I was super hyped about it. My family like was super hyped about it, and then I mean, winning back to back in Black Ops 4 was also a big part of my career, a big highlight in my career. And I would say probably the lowest point in my career probably was not qualifying for the league in the beginning of Black Ops 4. Um, it's just it's for the team that we had is definitely something that should definitely not happen, but it did, and um, I guess that's that. I mean, that's probably all I can really say for the lowest part of my career.
Was there like when that happened? Because obviously you'd established yourself up until that point, I think, right? Was there like a oh this is chalked, like I'm gonna have to go do something else, or was it like like we'll just cool out, we'll wait till the next opportunity to get back in the league?
Yeah, I think I was at a point where I kind of knew I was gonna get picked up by a different team. I just didn't know which team at the time. Um, but yeah, I think we all kind of knew when it happened that we'd all eventually get picked up. Obviously, not on the same team together, but we'd all get back in the league somehow.
So back then, I didn't follow competitive COD as closely as obviously I do now, but
Mhm.
and that was it. Just like you just got upset in qualifiers and just had a couple bad breaks, or what? How did that all play out?
Yeah, so it was like a qualifier in the beginning of Black Ops 4. It was like a pool play round robin type of qualifier, and we just didn't play as good as we should have, and a lot of people blame it on me running a main AR, but when we were scrimming, we were absolutely frying everyone, and then we got to the event and just didn't play well. Obviously, if I ran a sub, it could have happened. Maybe we could have qualified, but yeah, we kind of just went to the event and just didn't play our own game.
Well, season worked out pretty well for you at
Yeah,
the end of the day.
100%.
So, having spent that year with 100 Thieves and then last year with FaZe, I mean, we've got big aspirations as an organization on the content side. We've talked a lot about that. But what do you take away from your time with organizations like that, have these very well established brands and are all about churning out great content?
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously learned different things from every single org I've been on. And a big thing for me was just like the way they want to really push out content, really grow their players, and just for me, it helped me a lot just with the experience of kind of being in front of the camera and doing interviews and making content. Because at first I was absolutely horrible at it, and I'm still not that good, but I'm trying to get better at it. But I think that's the main thing that helped me like through being on these organizations such as like FaZe, 100 Thieves, just doing that content just helped me a lot, even for my own stream.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that. Like, you have a pretty like concerted effort, and I don't want to say like on-screen persona because well, I don't know. I haven't hung out with you a ton in real life yet, but like you seem like you're a pretty chill guy. But like you turn it up a tiny bit when you stream, and you're keeping like the engagement, which is that's like I think the hardest part to do when you're streaming, especially when you look at a lot of the other pro players. Like, no shade to them, but like they're not as engaging as they could be or as they should be to really help like them establish themselves as a personality in the scene. And so I think it's been really cool what you've done. Like I told you with this before we started streaming, but you actually did a takeover stream on the YouTube this past week, or yeah, when was it? time is so weird for me right now. I can't remember if it was 3 days ago or a week ago.
This is like the third time you've done that today. I feel like forgotten
It
what week it is
it
or
has
what day it
been
is.
It was like a week ago about that.
okay. Yeah, because Major Maniac did it this week. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm in a time warp this year. It is just every day is the same, especially since like winter started. You know, I'm not going anywhere, just working from home and on the grind. But yeah, I can notice that attention to that, and we've obviously been shooting a lot of content with you guys. We have some really really cool videos coming out on the channel, and then very soon. It just really really like amped up that you guys are excited about it. We're trying to make you guys look cool, smart, funny, handsome, but we do have a really funny video coming out. It's Cold War trivia, but it's not about the COD. It's about the real Cold War.
Yeah, I'm not very good at those ones.
No, but there's still like there's a lot of like good back and forth there. Even if you don't know all the answers, trivia, like who knows all the answers? I literally when I watched the video, I was like, huh, like, I don't know.
It was funny. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I guess I can't really spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it, but it's a good one. I'm sorry, that's the second video that's not out yet that I've said, hey, you guys are gonna like this, but you guys are gonna love it. So that's been really awesome, and we're hoping that we can obviously like Brett said, FaZe 100T now is really a great established branded organization, and it's our goal to get there. And to obviously I'm very biased, but like content I think is how you establish yourself in that space. Just takes a little bit of time and some effort and the right personalities to come along.
Well, and it's funny. I don't know if you've heard us tell this story, but shortly after the end of last season, when we were before heading into free agency, we were talking with Jake and Brian a lot about the direction we wanted to go as an organization, and we were debating, okay, how do you prioritize content versus being successful from a competitive standpoint? And heading to free agency, we said, all right, we're like the top priority is getting the best players available who can help us win, right? Like then we made that the priority number one. We kind of said, but it'd be great if we can get some guys that are solid at content as well. And I mean, I think we got a great group on both fronts. So I mean, we're all super pumped to have you guys, all four of you guys, as a part of the team.
No, yeah, I think we're all excited too. We obviously been trying to do as much content stuff as possible, but staying focused, still just grinding and getting better at the game. So I think we're just excited for everything.
You guys have been doing awesome. I know you guys have been grinding every day. I try not to ask you to do too much stuff, but I do ask you to do a lot of stuff. I did try to concert it into one day a week, just like, hey, knock it out real quick. Come on, let's go shoot it. So yeah, but no, it's been awesome having you guys, and I know it's as the new game's out, we're all grinding, but I kind of do want to go back to like the roster mania point a little bit from Brett. I keep seeing, we saw it on Hard Points this week. They brought it up. I've seen a couple other like analysts or, news focused channels in the scene saying that, wow, man, RØKKR pulled the heist. RØKKR came away. Like they did the squad wipe. They got a brand new roster lineup. We got Priestahh, Major Maniac, both of them from FaZe, obviously, and then Attach and Accuracy from New York Subliners. Just talk a little bit about, like, now that you're grinding the COD together and you guys are, like you say, like, you're all dedicated, there's no BS, like, is what you guys were hoping for in free agency, like, currently getting put into practice, and how stoked are you, like, for the squad?
Yeah, and now that we've been grinding more, we kind of all know how each other are. Like, I already knew how Dylan and Mike were because I've teamed with them. I didn't really know how Lamar is, and he didn't know how me and Mike were. So it was kind of interesting to see how things played. And I mean, like I said, we've been just grinding. And the main thing about this team that I was looking forward to, and it's happening, is that we all just want to get better at the game. We're all watching VODs, and we're all giving input. It's not, only two people giving their input, and then the other two just staying quiet. Everyone's putting their own opinion on it, and it just helps, like, get on the same page a lot quicker. It helps a lot when people, listen to everyone, when everyone's like paying attention to what's being said. And it just, I'm just excited for the rest of the year, just because I know we're going to progress a lot, and we're just going to keep learning. And we all just kind of like suit each other, I guess. And we all just kind of play off each other. And I'm just excited, and it's working good right now.
I love to hear that, dude. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
I'm a RØKKR super fan at this point. I like it. All predictions. I predict y'all to win. You're gonna win champs the next 10 years in a row, in my opinion. But truly, this lineup I think is special, and I think you know, especially like just the raw skill that you guys all have, and it's good to have that. Obviously, you need that.
Mhm.
How you guys all work together. I think last year, like on Phase, you and Major Maniac like proved that you guys like know how to work together. And I like Champs was crazy. I thought you guys had it. Like I thought you guys were gonna win it. It just, you know how it goes. It's any given CDL Sunday, I guess, but
Yep.
it can go any way, especially when everyone's so competitive. I guess one question I have is for next the 2021 season that starts next year. What are like your goals? Obviously, yes, win champs. Like sick goal, dude. I think we should and we will. And you know, 3-2-2-1, right? But other than that, like, what are your goals for the season for the squad and for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, for the squad and myself, it kind of answers both. Just win more events this year. I want to keep it consistent. I've won the past, you know, couple titles, and I just want to keep winning every single new title that comes out, just to show that, you know, that I can adapt and I can be consistent. I can win on, you know, boots on the ground or different types of movement. And obviously, I want to get a win for Rocker and just get a win with this squad. I think it'd be hyped. And yeah, like you said, champs. That's everyone's main goal, right? So I think it's for me just stay consistent as possible. And just win more events.
Dude, so rewind to like a year ago, right? Where going into the year, Atlanta's considered to be, you know, either the number one team or the number two team. I forget where people had you prior to launch weekend, but definitely thought to be, you know, the top. Going into a season, I guess, first of all, do you care what sort of others say about the team kind of ranking wise?
Mm.
And do you like to go in as the, you know, viewed as the number one team, or do you like going in as, you know, okay, maybe some people are underestimating us and let's go in and prove people wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably rather be ranked lower than number one, just because as soon as you get ranked number one and everyone's like, "Oh, you're the best team," then you instantly have like that thought in your head and like that, like a little bit more pressure. Like obviously, it's not a lot to pros because all these pros have been doing it for so long, so they're not gonna let it really affect them too much. But it still adds like a little bit of pressure rather than you being like ranked like fourth or fifth or something and just, you know, wanting to prove people wrong and just kind of knowing how good you are and how good your teammates are. It's probably a little bit easier for me. I personally don't really mind, because I mean everyone has their own opinions at the beginning of the game. I kind of just tell people just to wait and see how we play and then judge off that rather than go off of just the names on paper or how scrims are going, because it makes it a lot different.
I mean, that's a fun thing about any competitive environment, right? At the end of the day, you get to prove it.
Yeah.
Whether people have high expectations, low expectations, it's all in what happens on match day, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely. I guess just kind of like stoke the fires a little bit because I know you're newish to me, kind of. No, it's been a while now since you've been doing your thing, so I can't even say that. But like, just in the grand scheme, the 10 years I've been watching, still kind of new. You obviously you've been on. You were on 100T, had great experience there. Phase Atlanta Phase as well. Now with us, some new faces each year. Do you have any kind of like rivalry, either personally with another player, or I mean, obviously you switched teams now, so Rocker, like, I mean, our technical like rival is Toronto, but like it's not really like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who's Rocker's rival this year? Do we have one? Will we make one?
I mean, there might be some rivals that come up later in, you know, the year. Right now, I don't think so. I think as soon as tournaments start happening, maybe. Kind of just depends on how certain people react, or, you know, obviously there's teams like we want to beat because, you know, we either teamed with them before or we're just friends with them. Because I know like even like Lamar, he's rooming with Austin or with Slasher, and I'm assuming like when he plays against him, he's gonna want to destroy him. You know what I'm saying? And same for me and Mike, like when we play, you know, Atlanta Phase, like we're gonna want to just go out there and do our thing. So like, there's not really rivalries. There's not like any like hate towards one another. It's kind of just like we play against ourselves, I guess you can say. We go in like we're gonna play any other team, and we just want to win. Doesn't really matter who we play.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense to me. I think it's like obviously you especially want to beat any old teammates because you're like, listen, like,
Yeah.
whatever happened, whatever circumstance got us here, like it's about proving yourself, and it's about doing that every day, kind of no matter who you're going against. Especially when you look at how competitive the league is, and just it's just so nuts how close in skill and like technical expertise all the players are, whether they've been playing for quite a long time. You have like Attach and Accuracy have been around for quite a bit, or you have newer people like I think you and actually Major Maniac. He's like in my opinion, super underrated in terms of like being an intelligent player or a smart mind on the game. Like there's so much to still unfold in your guys' careers. I'm just so excited about that. So, we'll see where the rivalry bus takes us this year. I mean, I think Toronto's the Battle of the North, the fun one we do, but I'll be excited to kind of see, how those kind of start up. I think Dallas, obviously Dallas, I think last year was tough for RØKKR just because we almost beat them in finals at Los Angeles, but no real like screw those guys type of vibe really.
Nah, yeah. I think if it happens, it's just gonna be because a lot of people are probably underestimating our team, and if we beat them, they'll probably be super upset about it, and maybe something will slip, and they'll say something, or we'll see.
Hit him with the aches Nate shot shove. No, I'm just kidding. Oh man, did you ever watch that live? Like, when did you start watching competitive COD, or did you kind of like competing and like watching it kind of go hand in hand? Like, or
yeah, I mean, the first time I watched an event was COD XP, and that's kind of what like sparked my interest a lot. But yeah, I kind of started watching when I started competing, for the most part.
Watching every tournament and all that.
Yeah.
COD XP is a throwback. That's 2011.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 3.
That was the first event I actually ever saw, so that's what I was super hyped when I watched it. I was like, "There's no way people are playing for this much money." What was it, like $100,000 or something?
Yeah, it was $100,000 for each person that won. No, or was it for one team?
I forget, but all I know is I remember watching it, and I was just like mind blown that people were making money off of playing video games, and I was like, "Wow, that is something I want to do."
Why not? I mean, especially if you are good enough. Obviously, you've won quite a few tournaments at this point, but like it's just crazy. Is it crazy to you to like that actually happened? Like you pictured it, thought about it, and so many people do, and now you're here and you're doing your thing. Do you ever have like that step back moment, or are you just so in the grind zone right now that it's all just passing by a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it comes like once in a while. I don't think about it every day, but it definitely like hits me once in a while, especially when I'm streaming and people are like, "Oh, like I want to do this, I want to, be in your position and stuff." And it kind of makes me think like, I know I'm in a like good spot and I'm very blessed. So, it definitely comes around once in a while for sure.
Love that. Kind of speaking of that and like how you kind of think about things, like what's your like life balance, right? Like the life of a competitive gamer. I know you guys are obviously scrimming, practicing frequently throughout during the day, and then doing VOD review. You've got events, in a non-pandemic world, you're traveling a lot. How do you like balance it? Is your life just competing and building your brand? Do you have time for other things? Like, what do you do like when you're not like in that realm?
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a little bit different because obviously COVID happened. But for me, it's pretty difficult to balance competing and content just because they're very long days sometimes, especially if you want to do it consistently. We scrim probably like 4 to 5 hours a day, including VODs. And then after that, like if you want to stream, you don't want to stream for like an hour or two. Like if you want to do like 4 hours, that's already 8 to 9 hours. And then if you want to do YouTube on top of that, or Instagram or any other social media, it's a lot of work. But it's kind of something you like grow into doing, and like you have to like enjoy doing it in order to actually do it. If you're not having fun with it, then you probably won't put that much time into it. But for me, I tried to like especially at the beginning of the year, I haven't been like streaming as much as I was last year, just because I know how much like I'm gonna grind during the season. I'm gonna start playing eights and doing all these things. So I've been kind of like pulling back away from streaming a little bit and like putting a little bit more focus into YouTube. So it's giving me a little bit more time to like sit back and like relax rather than just scrims and then instantly into streaming, and then I have my YouTube channel. Then like it's definitely tough, and I'm honestly still figuring out a balance. and I have a girlfriend too, so I want to spend time with her and do things with her and go out to eat and do things. But it's tough, and I'm still figuring it out. But for me, it's kind of just like I'm learning what's too much and what's not, so I can do it consistently rather than trying to do too much and then I just get drained and just don't want to do it for like a whole week.
Yeah, I definitely know that feeling. I mean, I definitely was never a pro player, so I don't know like the exact like, that kind of grind, but definitely
Mhm.
like the streaming and like even just the streaming and YouTube balance. Like take the fact that you're like one of the best and have to practice to do that every day, but like even the streaming and YouTube balance it's tough. I have advice if you ever need, of course. I'm down to try to help you out. Or do you have editors on your channel, or how do you kind of like handle it?
Yeah, so I have a company helping me with my YouTube. They basically just take my rebroadcasts, and I'll either tell them what video I want to upload, or they'll tell me like, hey, like if I don't have the time to like give them the exact video that I want to upload, they'll kind of just go back and find a good video and like upload it for me. So they're like my YouTube manager as well. So they help out a lot, honestly, especially because I scrim and stream and stuff. Without them, it would definitely be tough.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's hard too because I used to look at it as like, yeah, I'll just script this for my stream and upload it. But what
Hmm.
really performs well, I mean, unless you have an editor really taking the time to splice that together in an entertaining way,
Hmm.
it's best when you like you're sitting down, you're recording, you're on for like that 40 minutes or whatever. I mean, kind of like what I'm having you do every week. I'm like, all right, come be on, let's record this, and then go about your way.
Hmm.
It's a balance for sure. And I think I I understand why a lot of the pro players kind of just want to focus on competing. Like I'm getting paid to compete. That's all I want to do. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna win, and then everything else will be awesome forever.
Hmm.
But it's truly important to build your brand and do your thing. So I commend you and any player out there who's just turn on the stream. Dang it,
Yeah.
have a personality. Get used to it. Have fun with it. Be yourself. Like I think being yourself is not done enough.
No, yeah.
Not in general.
I was gonna say too, like even like when I was streaming and I just started doing YouTube, like I wasn't even obviously like when you have thumbnails and you have editors, it makes it easier and it makes it your videos probably perform a little bit better. But like you can even like start doing that without thumbnails or editors. Like people were still watching my videos like with like no edits or anything, and they're honestly some of the better videos I have on my YouTube channel, just straight raw gameplay. So like if anyone out there like doesn't have time to do all that and get editors and get thumbnails and pay for that, like you can do it for free on yourself. Just take it from your VOD and just post it on YouTube. Like just start posting. That's literally what I did, and it helped me a lot.
And that's a great message. And our guy, our illustrious co-owner Gary V. I mean, that's a big part of his message and his whole content vibe is, you know, don't wait until you have the perfect setup. Don't wait until you've got all the best equipment. Like just go create, just go do it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, it's about what's gonna what you're feeling and what makes you happy, and that can change, right? Like it could change month to month or or week to week. And for us as an organization, like we want to support you and the other players in whatever that means, right? Like if there's if there's a month that you're all in on content, like we're here for you. And if there's a month that you're dialing back on the content and you're grinding more, like that's cool too, right? Like we're we want to be here to support whatever that means. But one of the things that that comes up a lot when I'm talking to people who don't really are outside the esports scene or just don't know, and they're asking about it, is just how hard everybody works. Like how and you just mentioned it, right? You're scrimming and then you're streaming, and I think people from the outside and even some fans might have a perception that like that it's easier, that it's easy to get to where you are,
Mm-hmm.
that it's just natural talent. And it's the work and the grind that goes into it is incredible. And I've got a ton of respect for for what I've seen from everybody in the scene since I got into it.
No, yeah, I think a lot of people underestimate that, like how hard it actually is. Because people ask me that all the time, like how many hours you play. Like now it's a little bit different, just because like I'm kind of in a position where I don't have to play as much when I was on the come up. But like when I was an amateur, I was doing 12 to 15 hours like almost every day. Like I wasn't just doing like 6 hours and saying, oh, like that's good enough and getting off. Like I knew because like for me it was, I'm just moving to my parents' house or my dad's house not too long ago, and he didn't really know how much I was like gaming, so he was like, like think about college, think about all these things, and I like told him I was like, give me a year off and like show you what I can do. So I literally gave myself a year. He gave me a year to kind of prove that, and I was just grind, like I said, 12 to 15 hours a day, and I don't think people realize how much time you actually have to put in to get to the top level.
Yeah, that's great. Can you talk a little bit about your family and the support that they bring? We've had had a chance to talk with your dad a few times and your parents, and had some great conversations. But talk a little bit more about your path up and what that was like for you and your family.
Yeah, so like I've lived with my mom majority of my life. She was always like kind of supportive about it, and she actually took me to my first couple of local tournaments. Then eventually I moved to my dad's house. He didn't really know how much I was playing, so I got a job and I was like thinking about college and all this stuff. But when I started I guess when I started just like making a little bit of money from it and like winning online tournaments and starting to stream, kind of like opened their eyes a little bit to like see like, hey, this could be a job type of thing. And I actually at one point made a goal like to make $40 a day because at the time that was like minimum wage, and I was like, well, if I could do that, then like this is a job pretty much. So when I started like just winning tournaments and making money consistently, they just they opened their eyes a little bit more and started supporting it more and started like being more interested and kind of wanting to learn about it, and obviously it turned into this, and they supported me through it all, so it worked out.
Sorry, I think Brett, you're double muted right there, but I didn't know if you had another question.
No, I was just saying that's awesome as always.
Yeah, that is super awesome. Shout out Preston's dad and your mom. I see your mom is on Twitter, like
Yeah.
It's amazing that family sport has to mean a lot, and that the fact that you had that year, that opportunity to be like, okay, like hone in, focus, like let me try, and just that it worked out. It doesn't always work out for everybody, but without that risk, like would we be here doing this podcast? And I don't know. It's pretty crazy to kind of think about. I have a couple of questions. We'll wrap here soon. I really appreciate you coming on, Priestahh. I think I kind of want to ask you just some random questions about your teammates. So like, who's the funniest person on the team? And is it you or is it someone else?
It's probably Dylan, just because he just says the most random things that you'll never expect him to say. He's like, I don't. He just comes out of nowhere and just says this. I don't even know if he's trying to be funny or if that's just how he is sometimes. Like he'll just say things and like it just makes everyone laugh. I think Dylan's probably the funniest on the team.
I mean, you're here, so I didn't want to say, but I agree. I think it's so funny, dude. And I mean, everyone has their own style, their own flair, and like if you get him in the right like situation, they'll be funny. But he does like watching some of the like edits that we're doing of you guys, and like just what he says seems so random, and you're like,
no, yeah.
he meant to land that right, or did he like accidentally like fall upwards and be really funny? I'm not sure. Ethan in the chat says Lamar's the funniest. Does Lamar like crack jokes? Like he seems so serious to me all the time. Does he ever like kick back and chill?
No, he definitely does. He definitely cracks jokes. He's pretty funny at times. I still think Dylan might have him topped though.
Let's have them 1v1 funny stuff. Hey, I have a quick question. Do you ever play Rocket League or anything like that? Have you ever played it?
I've never played Rocket League, no.
If I have you play it, will you be mad? I want to have the Rocket League team play Call of Duty and you guys play Rocket League, and just let's see how we can bridge that gap.
I was actually watching Rocket League the other day. I think I hosted JCap after my stream, and I was watching them for a little bit. It looks fun. I've never played it, but it looks fun.
It's so hard, but so amazing. Like it looks so easy, and it's so easy to understand, but it's true. I mean, it's kind of like COD. Like if you watch, like if I watch you play Warzone, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go in there, run around like Preston does. It does not go the same for me. That's exactly how I feel when I watch Rocket League. Got some questions in the chat. Yo, give us some questions in the chat before we wrap up here, guys. Outlandish Operations asks, best cereal. Do you have a favorite cereal that you rock in the mornings?
Honestly, I don't really eat cereal anymore. I haven't eaten cereal in a few years now. I think people hate on me for it, but I like Cinnamon Toast Crunch a lot.
That's the best one by far.
Okay, good.
I used to like Captain Crunch, but it just destroys my mouth. I don't like it.
No, yeah, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, because it's like, even like after the milk is all cinnamony, and you just want to drink it, it tastes good. I just like it.
Nice, yeah. Can't go wrong with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Do some content with the Vikings. I would love that. We actually were doing like some collabs with them last year, but obviously with the pandemic and everything, they're super like dialed in, dialed back, and pretty much only focused on football and doing that type of stuff. Do you ever play zombies, Preston? Someone in the chat is asking your loadout in zombies.
Yeah, I played a couple games of zombies. Probably like a little bit less than a week ago. I was grinding zombies. I was actually going to grind for the plague diamond camo, the purple diamond camo.
Yeah.
But I started it doing on my ARs, and I got like a little less than halfway through, and then I realized that I don't really use an AR much anymore in competitive. So I was like, well, I'm like doing this for zero reason now, so I just kind of chalked it. But I did play a couple games of zombies.
Nice. Whenever I love the new zombies. Like for a while there, like on the older Black Ops games, like I got a little lost in the sauce after Black Ops 2. There was too much like complication of how to do stuff and get the whatever. I don't even know what it was. It was like doing long division whenever I'd get on zombies, so I don't like doing that. So I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Have either of you played the new Warzone map yet?
Not yet. What about you?
Yeah, I played it. It's like a remake of Alcatraz. So I used to play the not what is it called in Black Ops 4? Not
Alcatraz?
Warzone. Not Warzone. Blackout. I used to play Blackout in Black Ops 4, and Alcatraz was a map, and that's like the new map right now for Cold War. So it's like just like a remake, pretty much.
Is it the same like you die and come back type of thing? Man, I hated that. I never.
Yeah. So like as long as you have your teammates alive, like as long as like if you die and your teammates are alive, you'll respawn. But if you all die at once, then it's over. Yeah.
Is it true that the games are going really, really fast?
What happened?
Is it true that the games are going like really, really fast? Like everyone just drops in and they're just massed.
Yeah. So when you drop in, you drop very quickly. I only played like 2 games of it, and so it starts off with like 40 people, like 40. I think it's 40 people in total, or 40 teams. I don't know what it is, but it seemed like people were dropping very quickly, and the teams are kind of dying out fast. But it was weird because in Blackout, that was like the game mode I'd play to get like a lot of kills. So maybe I have to keep playing it, and maybe people have to figure out how to play it to start actually like playing out how I used to.
Yeah, maybe play a little slower, stay alive a little longer. What's your favorite map and competitive or map and mode combo in Call of Duty? Like mine is Raid Hardpoint.
Ooh,
That's it.
I don't really have a favorite map and mode. I don't know. I've never really had like that map where I'm just like, wow, this is like my favorite map of all time. I don't know.
Talk to me in 1 year. It's gonna be Raid Hardpoint. I'm sorry. I'm Raid biased.
No, yeah, a lot of people say like it's usually a lot of people's picks from like Black Ops 2, but I'd never played competitive Black Ops 2, so I never had like a favorite map from that,
Yeah. There's a Master King in the chat's asking, will standoff be added into the rotation for competitive and more Black Ops 2 maps? Wouldn't that be amazing? I don't idea, but
we were talking about that today. We're like, dang, they should add more Black Ops 2 maps, because after playing today, it was like, wow, this map is just amazing. So that'd be awesome, but who knows if they will.
I'm gonna dream of Raid Hardpoint tonight. Dream of the rotations, where I'm going, how I'm locking the spawns. Doc's S&D. Ooh, that is a good one from World War II. Doc's S&D, says the chat. That's pretty awesome. Okay, one more question that we gotta go, guys. Jack in the chat is asking, more scrim streams coming. Now, obviously, I think we've talked about this on the podcast before. Once the pro teams start scrimming quite a bit, and especially the closer you get to the season, you start to see certain teams scrim less. What's kind of like your philosophy on streaming scrims? Do you think it's a terrible idea? Do you miss it? Do you hate it? Do you love it? Are you neutral? How do you look at that?
Personally, for me, like I've said the past couple of years, like I don't mind streaming scrims. Up until like maybe like the end of the year towards like champs, it's not really worth it just because it's the biggest tournament, and you don't really like everyone's kind of learning how to play the game. So if you know like a few extra things other teams you don't want to show it. But for me, I don't personally mind it, but a lot of players don't like when they stream their scrims. So I kind of just do whatever the team wants to do.
Good call. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes, sir.
It's understandable too. All right, well, there's mad love for you in the chat. Lots of people giving you love. Shout out Preston. Really appreciate you coming on. It was cool to get to know you and just get to like pick your brain on a couple things. Brett, do you have anything before we go? Do you have a question for Preston?
No, I'm pumped for the season. It can't get here. It can't get here soon enough. I'm sure you guys feel the same way, but I'm excited, man. Looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good year.
No, yeah, excited too. I'm excited, to show all the fans and supporters what we've been cooking up and what we've been working on.
I'm excited to see it, and I'm sure everyone listening or watching is too. Thank you so much to everyone who is watching on the YouTube channel, and if you're listening, thank you so much. This is going to be one of the last episodes of Building Minnesota RØKKR. More coming on that soon. We've got cool plans for next year.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure how much you were going to tease it, Ashley.
That's a little
bit.
Little tease. Big things coming. 2021 is going to be sick. Not only for RØKKR in the season, just CDL in general. I think is really primed for a good year. But we've got a lot of great content coming to you guys' way, and we're just super ecstatic to bring you guys cool stuff. So again, Preston, thanks so much for coming on. Shout out Priestahh. Make sure to go follow his Twitch. I forget what you call your subs, but I'm one of them. I'm subbed to his Twitch. Go ahead, twitch.tv/Priestahh with 2 H's, right? That's right.
Yep.
That's his Twitter as well, so go follow him. Someone in the chat, Brett, I don't know if you saw, asked if you had a YouTube channel. So Brett Diamond, do you have a YouTube channel, or is this it? Is it this?
I think this is it. Yeah, a couple appearances on the RØKKR YouTube is the extent for me. But
there we go.
You gotta make your own channel and do some challenge videos.
Yeah.
There we go.
Start doing it. All right. Thank you everyone so much for watching and listening. We will see you next year. I know it's such a played out statement, but we'll see you next year. We're really excited for 2021, and we'll catch you next time.